Hey guys, Damon over here at REI BlackBook, and I got a great user question today, and I thought I'd record a quick video because after I kind of started talking to him through the best process, then I thought a lot of you guys might be able to benefit from this. But basically, what I want to show you is the best way to plan out your follow-up phone calls. So as you guys know, REI BlackBook does come with a phone capture system, right? So you can set up unlimited extensions, all kinds of good stuff. We call that the AMP, Auto Message Pro. All right, but let me go in and let's kind of take a look at exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go in here into the Client Genie, and I'm going to click on my AMP system here. And as I click on the AMP, of course, I can have multiple numbers, but I'm going to go to the number that I use most. That's a 314 number here, 266. So as we kind of take a look at this number, basically you can start seeing who's actually texted in. So I can see Kay here. She's actually texted her email address in, so she's opted in. It created a contact. She also called in and dialed extension 4, so I can see that. Jolene's called in. Okay, but look here. I can see that this individual called in from a 732 number. They dialed extension 5. They dialed extension 5, but they were not in the CRM, okay? So if they actually call in, the number's already in the CRM, it's going to attach the contact as we know, right? So for this particular case, I'd love to be able to assign a follow-up process so that I know that I can at least call this person back probably 3 to 4 times to make sure that I call them back and I don't let any leads slip through the cracks, okay? So I'm going to show you how we can do that, and what we can do is create what we call basically a follow-up plan. And so let's come in here and let's click this, or to-do plan really. I'm going to click on my settings icon up here. And then that takes me to the settings of all of my automatic systems, okay? So one of the automatic systems we have is our to-do plans. So I'm going to create a to-do plan really quick. And let's name this AMP Follow-Up. So I'm going to go ahead and save that as AMP Follow-Up. And then it's going to ask me, well, what do I want to do first? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and, of course, return the phone call. So phone call number 1. And I'm going to do that. I want to do that as soon as they call in. So I'm going to put day 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and add another step. So let's say we want to do phone call 2. And I want to do that. I'm going to give them about 3 days, okay? So 3 days, I might follow up. Now you could do this at the next day, the next day, the next day. You could do this as often, or as frequent as you want. It's really up to you, but we'll go ahead and add another phone call. So we're going to say phone call number 3, and we're going to do that on day 5. We'll tag that as a phone call, and we'll hit save. Okay, so basically what happens is now what I want to do is every time somebody calls in, I want to be able to create a follow-up plan so that I know exactly when I'm going to call them, and the system will actually remind me for the rest of the follow-up phone calls. Okay, so this is perfect. Let's go ahead and save this, and now let's go back into our AMP system. All right, so we go into our AMP system. Now here's the cool part. All right, if they're already in your database, again, we're going to go ahead and associate whenever they call in or text in with the contact record. All right, so we're going to link it up automatically. So in this case, we've got Kay. She called in on extension 4. Well, you know what? That extension 4, that's actually from Brandon's car, it looks like. I can tell that. And that Brandon's car actually has an advertisement that says we pay full price for your house. So I know Kay is interested in selling her house, so I definitely need to get a hold of her. So I'm going to go ahead and click on her contact record. I'm going to go ahead and make the phone call. Now, if I don't get a hold of her, of course, I'd love to be able to add a note. And, of course, I've got all these quick notes here, so I can say that I left a message if I won. All of that stuff is in here. However, really what I want to do is let's go ahead and establish the to-do plan. All right, so I'm going to actually establish that to-do plan. So I'm going to click right over here on my to-do list. And I'm going to say, you know what, let's go ahead and use that AMP follow-up. So here we go. Let's pick a date. Well, you know what? I want to do this today, okay? I could schedule it to start like maybe Monday if I want to start making calls on Monday or anything else, but I really want to start this today, so let's just go ahead and hit OK. And then bam, it actually schedules phone call number 1 for today, phone call number 2 on 7/28, phone call number 3 on July 30th, okay? So basically, guys, that creates it. That's done. And then on my to-do list, if I want to just click on Make Calls, I can see that those are all scheduled for me, okay? So they're all scheduled. So come July 25th, I go ahead and click on it, make the call. I can then, maybe I just need to leave notes or anything else, but hey, we go ahead and mark that as complete. Bam, that's done. Now what's going to happen is on July 30th, I can come in and of course it'll flag me to make this call, and I'll know I can go ahead and mark those as complete, all right? But if I want to just get an email to make that phone call number 2 to Kay, then I'm going to go into my settings again, and I'm going to turn on my agenda assistant, and then I'm going to enable the agenda assistant, and then I'm just going to get emails every day on exactly what I'm supposed to do, so I'll know all of the calls that I need to make. Now, it'll also tell me whenever I need to create letters and things like that, of course. There's lots of stuff you can do with these to-do lists, or to-do plans, if you will. But that is a very, very simple way. So really quick, I just want to kind of recap that. We've got the contact in there, okay? So Kay Hayes, I go ahead and click on her, and I went ahead and added a to-do plan. That's pretty simple. So we'll say the same thing for Jolene here, okay? So now she texted in, and we'd love to get back to her, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Jolene, I'm going to click on my to-do list. I'm going to go ahead and assign the follow-up calls to start today, and then bam, now those are scheduled. It really is truly that simple. It truly is that simple. And as I come in and look at my to-do list, I can see all of those calls are scheduled for both Jolene and Kay, and so now I know exactly when to follow up. But the big question is, what happens if somebody calls in or texts in and you don't necessarily have them in your contact database? Well, let's go back into the AMP system really quick and let's take a look at this, okay? So what you're going to notice, for instance, right here, we've got the 715 number. They called in. They dialed extension 4. All right, well, extension 4, that's Brandon's car. So I know that they called and they're interested in selling their house, ultimately. Or they probably wouldn't have called an ad that said, we'll buy your house, okay? So I know they're interested, but you know what? I don't have them in their database, so this add contact lets me know they're a new contact. Now, this is all the information I really got. I know they called extension 4. I know they called from extension 715, and it looks like they didn't leave a voicemail. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead. Let's click on Add Contact because I'd like to take action on this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Contact. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a generic term. So for instance, I'm probably going to name this Joe Seller. And the reason I'm going to name it Joe Seller is because I know he dialed extension 4, which is an advertisement that says we buy houses. So this is Joe Seller, right? So kind of like John Doe. I don't know any other information, but I want to go ahead and add him into my database here. So Joe Seller. All right, so now we got Joe Seller. We go ahead and click on our to-do list. Let's go ahead and add the AMP follow-up plan, and let's have that start today. All right, so it's pretty much just like the other contacts, except now you know Joe Seller is basically going to be your John Doe. They called in, you know they were interested in selling their house, but that's it. That's all the information you have. You want to be able to follow up, and you know what? If you call them today and don't get a hold of them, then don't just drop it and stop calling. Make sure you build a follow-up plan that you can be consistent with your follow-up, because follow-up is exactly what wins, all right? So call the guy back, leave a message for sure, and then flag yourself to keep calling, okay? And this really could be every other day. It could be every day, whatever you want to do, but make sure you're following a plan, okay, so nothing slips through the cracks. You then don't have to worry about it, because the awesome thing is on July 28th, you're going to get an email that tells you, hey, guess what? Phone call is due. Here's the phone number you need to call. It's Joe Seller. Well, that tells you that contact's not in your database. But the system's also going to email you on July 28th, because let's go look at our to-do list. On July 28th, we know that we're going to have to call Joe Seller, Jolene, and Kay. Well, we know Jolene and Kay are both in our database, right? But we know it's the second follow-up phone call. All right, we know it's the second follow-up phone call. All right, so that's exactly how you would do this and use the AMP to-do plans. Or I'm sorry, these are really to-do plans, but use them in conjunction with AMP, all right, with the AMP system. All right, so guys, hey, just thought, again, I had a student, another REI BlackBook member asked me that question today, and as I went through that process with him, I just thought, you know what, there's probably a lot of folks that could benefit from this little quick tip. So hope this is beneficial to you guys, and keep the questions coming. We love supporting you guys. We'll talk to you soon.